Aloha, gorgeous souls. I'm Luna Ra Starshine, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I'm feeling with the collective energies and what we're shifting into. We're about to go into another eclipse portal with the Scorpio full moon coming up this weekend, and just feeling a lot of the intensities happening around the earth. But the thing is what I'm feeling actually into is this dark goddess energy that has been coming up, I feel like, a lot, especially in spiritual community, spiritual context, because it's this time of the feminine actually embracing her wounds so she can transmute them. So there might be a lot of you, especially women, like that are experiencing this dark goddess energy. I'm talking Kali Durga vibes, Lilith, these aspects of the divine feminine that maybe are perceived as toxic feminine, or, like, ew, like, because, witchcraft, like these type of things, because the goddess is like pissed off, right? And this is actually a point that we have to reach when we're coming into the divine feminine and that love and compassion. It's just like on this scale of emotion, you have to get through, in order to get to happiness from depression, you have to get angry first in order to move up on that scale. You don't just go from super sad to super happy. There's a scale, and that involves that anger. So to me, the dark goddess energy, or the toxic feminine, which I don't want to call her that, we'll say the dark goddess, is the energy of really coming into her fierceness and reclaiming her power. And so that's something I feel like we're experiencing on the earth, especially with the Scorpio moon. So it's like the feminine really claiming her power, reclaiming her womb, reclaiming her body, and saying no, and like being fed up with certain behaviors that aren't serving her. This could look like the earth also being fed up with certain things. So we could be looking at certain things happening on the earth that cause pain. But pain is essential in order, again, to lead to the pleasure and to understand why we move through these transitions and why we have to experience the vastness of emotion for the collective. I once worked with the mantis beings. So the mantis took me out of my body, and they took me into their ship and allowed me to view from their consciousness while they were working on my body. And they told me that they were experiencing humanity like through us. Like, we're an engineered race. From my understanding, there are multiple types of beings on the planet that were engineered by different types of beings. The mantis were one of the architects or engineers of the reality, and they did this so that they could experience emotion, because from their perception, from their reality, they do not experience emotion or feeling, but they're learning through us, so they could evolve to have that capacity. See, all beings in the universe are wanting to expand and evolve, just like humanity wants to evolve. All beings want to evolve, and we want to keep moving into expansion, into bliss consciousness, into but it's not even, see, here's the thing where we get caught up a little bit, is like needing to reach enlightenment or needing to reach nirvana, which, by the way, you have access to already, especially if you've already followed a spiritual protocol and you know how to do breath work, kundalini yoga, or tai chi or qigong, some kind of movement activations, or even in plant medicine. There have been moments that you have likely experienced nirvana, even in orgasm, even in birth. There are moments where you probably actually experience that state of consciousness that you're wanting to access more. Now, here's the thing. Once you access that state of consciousness and you're there in that bliss bubble, that bliss energy, well, you want to get out of it sometimes. Basically, like, you don't stay there because you want to keep learning. You want to keep evolving as a human. You want to keep experiencing emotion. feeling. And from what the mantis explained to me was that the full spectrum of feeling and emotion is valid and necessary and helps for our evolution, and it helps these other beings understand what the preferences are for emotion. But noticing that all emotions are important and vital to humanity, and they are each significant for our evolution. So really taking this time during this moon to really embrace all of your emotions and not to shut any of them down, to really experience the fullness of emotion. And sometimes certain plant medicines can help us do this, but sometimes they can hinder us from doing this. Like, for example, if you smoke a lot of cannabis, and you're numbing something, you're not allowing yourself to actually fully experience that. Well, if you already smoke a lot of cannabis, I'm going to challenge you to take a new approach towards it. And when you're smoking, actually holding that intention to feel what it is you're numbing or what you need to. I dare you to do that, because that will then help expand you. Okay, so, and this can happen with anything. Cacao ceremonies, other types of plant medicine that you're going into during a full moon can be a great time to access and release any of those pent up emotions that could be blocking you from your highest timeline, from the timeline that you're wanting to come in. Okay, I've also noticed over the past couple weeks, a lot of people starting to come into more alignment and more having memories of past lives, or past lives kind of seeping over into this one. And we start to notice this when there's things that we question from our lives that don't really make sense, or patterns, or situations that were really dense or really hard for us to evolve from or shift out of. These type of experience tend to be past life. And so I'm just going to give you an example from my own personal life. So I was in a relationship for 7 years. 7 years, a very dense, very toxic, heavy relationship. And this relationship, I kept fighting to stay in it for some reason, even though it wasn't serving me, and it was actually really hurting me, damaging my self-esteem. And I was doing everything I could to help this person who didn't fully want to be helped, or wasn't able to really receive what I had to offer. And I received a lot of judgment from this person. There was toxic behavior. There was verbal and mental and physical abuse happening. And yet I continued to stay to try and make things better. I also, made some choices earlier on in the relationship that made me feel guilty. So I felt like I had to make up for those things. And it ended up being this 7-year cycle until I felt finally complete, that the last straw was drawn for me to exit. And I did everything I could to be supportive of this person and be loving to this person. Why did I go through all that? Every time there would be like something like, maybe this is my chance to be able to exit the situation. I couldn't until that 7 years was complete. So then when I came and did an ayahuasca journey, ayahuasca showed me that that person was actually my son, my child in a past life, who I had abandoned early on in their life. So in this life, in order for me, it really didn't have anything to do with them. In order for me to really get over that guilt of doing that, abandoning my child, I stayed with this person for so long, even though they weren't treating me well. I was loving them like a child to my full capacity, and tolerating certain behaviors, in order for me to be able to release the guilt and shame for abandoning this child. So I came back to his life in this lifetime to show him as much as I could that I loved him, and make up for some of the abandonment. And I still had my issues in it, but I just didn't want him to feel abandoned. It was interesting because he had his own abandonment issues um, as a child. So anyways, what I'm saying, and I didn't realize this, until later. So sometimes these challenging relationships that we're not really even sure why it keeps coming up often have to do with past lives, and something reoccurring for us to kind of deal with the karma from that. But really, it's just about finding resolve within yourself and really coming to peace within yourself and having forgiveness for that person, no longer blaming them. I was at a once I had that journey and we were no longer in a relationship anymore, I had forgiven him for the most part. I did a lot of practices to do that, a lot of Ho'oponopono prayer. I did the work by Byron Katie to really reframe my perspective of this person to where I was no longer blaming them. So I had already done that part of the work, and then the medicine showed me like, oh, like, you were doing this out of guilt. Like, you essentially felt bad for what you had done, and so you stayed. The 7 years is often a karmic cycle in order to clear that. So I hope that you don't do that, that you don't stay in a situation for that long. You're able to move through that karma easily, or notice it. But this is the thing where now I'm at this phase in my life where if there's like a red flag or something feels off, then I know it with that. I know that like it clicks right away. And I know that if I don't listen or pay attention to the signs that are given to me, that I'm gonna end up hurting myself, that I'm leading myself down the path of self-sabotage, self-abuse. So don't do that. Make sure you are noticing if someone's really not in alignment with you and someone's actually hurting you in some way. Please do yourself a favor and take the necessary action steps to remove yourself from that situation. And you can deal with the karma or whatever the past life things are in another way. But finding forgiveness for people is really important. That's why I always advise people to do Ho'oponopono prayer for anyone that they're feeling any type of negative energy from or towards, and including yourself. If you're, especially yourself, number one, if you're holding on to guilt or shame about something in your life, make that a practice. So all of these things are just wanting to be shared today, and as we're coming into the full moon energies, but this can apply at any point in your life. So I just wanted to be present with you and just share this. I'm currently offering some activation sessions where I will guide you through a bit of a hypnotic state, guided meditation, and I will help you to clear your energy so you can activate. And when you activate your energy bodies, you're able to align with higher frequencies that you want to call into your life. So we could open you up to receive messages from elementals, from star family, from ancestors, this kind of thing. And I will channel using my voice and other elements and instruments so that you can fully receive this activation. So if you're feeling any block, especially like from psychic gifts or from expressing your voice, I would be happy to work with you on that, to do a session for clearing. And then I also have my 5-week vocal embodiment coaching program and my 12-week goddess embodiment coaching program. Right now, these are one-on-ones, but I am creating this to be a course and program. So stay tuned for that. And I just wanted to share a quick little energetic clearing and activation here for us. For these full moon Scorpio energies, to help us just like move through this time with grace and ease and be able to have discernment in our own lives when someone's energy is off, knowing that we don't have to like chill with that person. We can lightly walk the other way with love and kindness and compassion in our heart, but making sure we're discerning and bringing us this white diamond light protection around us. So just taking a deep breath in. And if you want, you can take your hands and rub them together, breathing in deeply and just go ahead and washing the energy over the body with an Om. So breathing in deeply. So coming to the heart center, maybe giving yourself a light massage and just tapping into the cosmic heart and just really accessing this heart and expanding this heart into the universe. We're tuning into source creator energy from the center of our heart. So bringing in that love, experiencing love. Who do you love? What in life do you love? Thinking of moments where you've experienced great love or you've given great love. Okay, just tuning into that energy and allowing these frequencies of love to come into the body. Atel hakunta ye hakiawanta yakiu hatiawana ke te Utiara makate la sitia le matate le moate te fakuane heitai yamakuate te nakaya nakuari hita yamate te keata te aka akiare anata yanta te yama te yama Shoo-ku. Ku-ku-ku. Ku-ku-ku. Asintare mate, rasintare kuate, esitara makayate, te kuayanayate. Akturasi toramakati ramashati lektusi tiramakati ramoshati umvrevisha ringarambo rinta ringai Nice deep breath in and exhaling and release. May the divine goddess into your heart and purify you and open you to receive and give the love of the cosmic heart. May you move forward with grace and ease and shed all that doesn't serve you so we may uplift and raise the vibration of humanity on planet Earth. Many blessings to you all, and I'll talk to you soon.